Hello chess lovers, Suren here, and I have another impressive game for you played by the 8th world chess champion Mikhail Tal. His opponent is Jimmy Adams. This game was played during a chess simul which Mikhail Tal gave in 1964 in London. I stumbled upon this game in Caroline Tiber's book Mikhail Tal's Best Games and was actually surprised that this game could be found nowhere in the databases. Now let's see how the game went on. Mikhail Tal had white pieces and he started with e4, c5 by Jimmy Adams, Sicilian defense, knight f3, e6, d4, c takes d4, knight takes d4 and a6. Black goes for Khan variation, which is named after Ilya Khan. By playing a6, black prevents any knight b5 moves and later can bring into life b5 idea. Knight c3, queen c7. First black queen is taking under control the e5 square, is not allowing e5 and is preparing knight f6. Bishop e2, knight f6, white castles kingside, d6, f4, knight d7, bishop f3. This move is like acting against b5 because already b5 can be met with e5. White will attack black rook. Bishop e7 was played, bishop e3, knight b6, queen e1, knight c4 and bishop c1. White wants to keep alive his dark squared bishop, at the same time is protecting the pawn on b2. Rook b8, black is moving away his rook from this dangerous diagonal and is preparing b5. But now Tal is playing b3 and is driving back the annoying knight. Queen c5. Black is counterattacking white knight, knight e2 and knight e5. This is a pseudo sacrifice which on the surface looks nice, but actually this allows white to gain advantage. Here comes f takes e5, d takes e5. Black is using the fact that the white knight is pinned, and bishop e3. After the simul had ended, Tal admitted he had momentarily forgotten his pre-planned b4 move, which is actually the best move. White wants to lure away black queen and unpin the knight. In the post-mortem, Tal and Jimmy played out the following moves as if playing a real game. Queen a7 was played, bishop e3. Let's have a quick look at this variation. Black is moving away the queen from a dangerous diagonal, of course a miserable square for black queen. Queen a7, queen f2, rook a8. Black is also moving away the rook, knight d7, bishop e3, queen b8, bishop takes b7. White is opening up the f file for the queen and then is capturing, and then knight e6 checkmate. This was the game which Mikhail Tal and Jimmy Adams played after the game, but in our main game we see bishop e3, e takes d4, bishop takes d4, queen c7, now comes e5, knight d7, knight g3, bishop c5. We see the exchange of dark square bishops on c5 square, king h1 and knight takes e5, a very risky decision by Jimmy Adams. Earlier on, Jimmy had heard one spectator whisper to another that many people had still not castled. He should have kept this in mind and heeded the warning. Of course, instead of capturing on e5, the best move was castling kingside, but in the game we see knight takes e5, which allows Mikhail Tal to gain advantage by using the fact that black king is still stuck in the center of the board. Here comes knight e4, knight takes f3, rook takes f3, queen e5. Well, if a move like queen c7, then white can play queen b4, not allowing black to castle kingside and also threatening knight d6 check. After rook takes f3, we see queen e5. And now you can pause the video and try to find Mikhail Tal's next move. Ready? In this position, Mikhail Tal played rook f5, just a fabulous square for white rook, and it turns out that white rook is actually untouchable. If queen takes f5, then knight d6 fork is winning, or if e takes f5, again knight d6 check and black is losing his queen. That's why after rook f5, queen c7 was played. Now comes rook c5. Of course, by attacking black queen, white is activating his rook. Queen f4, queen e2. White is going to bring the second rook into the game. Black castles kingside, rook f1. Queen h4, now comes rook h5, and this is becoming very dangerous. Queen e7, and in this position Mikhail Tal made a move and black resigned. Can you find his next move? Ready? He simply played knight f6 check and black resigned. If queen takes f6, simply rook takes f6 and black can't even recapture because in a few more moves can get checkmated. But let's have a look. What if after knight f6 check black plays g takes f6? Then this time white can play queen g4 check. If king h8, then white can go for the spectacular rook sacrifice, and then the second rook is coming and the checkmate is imminent. After rook takes h4, we see a checkmate on the board. After the exhibition had completed, Tal stayed on to talk and analyze with his opponents. Jimmy Adams told Carly Tiber the following: "We saw from the expression on his face how much pleasure he got from surprising us with his tactical ideas. He was very charismatic and spoke English well enough for us juniors to appreciate his wit and humor." I hope that you enjoyed this beautiful game. Thanks for watching. Here are more suggestions for you, and for more games don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I will see you in the next video.